What's up guys, my name is Ivan Valdovinos, and on this channel I provide tips, tricks, advice, and strategies for your graduate school applications. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. Today I have a really fun video for you guys. So this weekend I was on Reddit and I was looking for, the most commonly asked questions for graduate school applications, and I came across this page called Advice for Getting into Graduate School. So I went on that webpage and I went and found some questions for you all. So I'm going to be answering those in this video. Will letters of recommendations from professors in a different field hurt me? And my answer to this question is they won't hurt unless the professor doesn't know you well enough in different aspects. So for example, like the admissions committee is looking for people that can showcase and kind of prove that you are ready for graduate school, or that you have research skills. It doesn't matter. Let's say you conducted research with this letter of rec writer in a different field, and that's okay as long as the letter of rec writer can speak about the skills you gained in research. Because obviously if you're applying for a PhD program, even a master's program that's research focused, they're going to want to know their applicants are well versed in research. And if you can show that you know the research process, that you know how to conduct quality research, then it doesn't matter what field you conducted your research in, as long as you can showcase to the committee via the letter of recommendation or some other way that you are ready for grad school and that you can conduct quality research. If that's the focus of your program, usually for master's programs, you can either apply for a terminal master's, which means that you're gaining more skills that you want to take out into like a practical sense. But if the master's is a research-based master's, then you want to showcase that you can produce high quality research. So again, to answer the question, will letters of recommendations from professors in different fields hurt me? It will not hurt you unless the letter of rec writer cannot showcase some type of skill that you can bring to the graduate school, or if the letter of rec writer does not support your success in graduate school. So the next question, it's more like a meme, so it's about funding. So there's which I'll pop it up here somewhere. So the meme kind of says like me, which is this guy, and looking at this girl, a beautiful girl, and it says expensive program at my dream school, and then his girlfriend that he's hanging out with, on her little caption it says fully funded program at a nice state school. And so this was a dilemma I actually had when I applied for master's programs in particular. So I got into 2 Ivy League schools which didn't provide really any funding in terms of, if you look at it in terms of the price tag. So I was thinking about taking out $50,000 in loan, but I did get a full ride at my state school, which is another top 10 ed policy program. And so I ended up choosing the Ivy League school, but I was definitely in this dilemma where I was like, should I take out $50K in loans and be in debt for like a long period of my life, or should I just go to the state school, which is still a great education policy school and like nationally ranked, everything in a nice location, and it was fully funded. So I was definitely in this dilemma. But what I would suggest that you do is think about how that school is going to propel your career. Think about if it's worth it to take out $50,000 in loans, and how that's going to help you personally, not only grow personally but academically, but also in your career. So I knew that the Ivy League school was going to help me get to where I wanted to be quicker, and I knew that the name of the school was going to hold weight when I was applying for jobs after I graduated. So I ended up choosing to take out $50K in loans just because I knew it was going to help me in the long run, and it was going to get me to where I wanted to be quicker than a state school would. The next one's a really good question, again about funding. So it reads, what metrics in your application determine how much funding you get? This is a really good question because funding could be really hard to decipher. It can be really hard to understand. And honestly, just to get direct with this question, you don't know. Every year, the graduate school, your program, your department is going to get different funding, and so you don't even know how much funding they're going to be able to offer to students. Some years they might offer more than others, but usually you don't know. So you're going to have to wait until you received your award letter once you get accepted to determine if you are going to be able to get like a fully funded program or partially funded, or if you have to look for fellowships to support you in that program, or if you are eligible for, like, let's say a graduate student researcher position, or if you can be a TA to offset some of the costs. So really it's kind of hard to determine this, but you can always reach out to the admissions office and ask these questions, because they should probably know by the summer before you applied if they're going to be able to offer their students funding. Some programs on their website, they do tell you right off the bat, they'll say something like, if you get accepted into the PhD program, you should expect a fully funded 5-year program. That's what happened with me with my PhD program that I'm currently in. The school and the website told me that I was expected to get a 5-year funding package that was going to cover my tuition and my living expenses, and that's what's really happening right now. It is a combination of things that I do to get my funding. So I do have to work 20 hours a week, and I get tuition remission, and I do make a small little amount of money to for my living expenses. So I suggest that you either look on the website. That should be the first step, and then if they don't offer that information, then you can always reach out to the graduate school or the department and even the program to ask these questions. But honestly, you shouldn't expect to receive anything concrete until you receive an award letter after you've been accepted. The next question is it acceptable to email a school to see if I've been rejected? So yes, when you're in the admissions process, especially once after you submit, everybody's anxious. I know I was like, when am I going to hear back? Even though the website did tell us like mid-March or late February or something, it still gets you anxious, especially once it nears it. And because they do make it so broad, like mid-March, you're like, when is mid-March? Is mid-March like the 12th? Is it the 20th? Like, when is it? And then once you pass those days, you just feel more anxious. So I suggest that you do not bombard the admissions office or your department or any faculty about this decision, just because that they get a lot of these emails, and you don't want to be another person that's going to be bothering them when they're trying to make decisions and trying to put those out. So what I want you to do is just be patient. I know it's hard, but just be patient. It'll come, and you should be able to have enough time to decide if you want to attend that school or make a decision, or make a pros and cons list, reach out to professors and faculty and current students. But I want you to be patient. I would say if you don't hear, let's say that they say on the website that you should hear back in mid-March and it's already April or something, then yes, I would send out a follow-up email and ask, what's the status of my application, and they'll let you know what happened. But don't bombard them with emails about learning from your about your decision, because honestly they're going to give you a generic answer and just say it's coming or we roll them out in mid-March. So I just wouldn't waste my time worrying about it. I would just be patient, and if it does pass that date that they do give on the website, then I would reach out. Does it kill your chances of going to a school in the future if you turn down their offer? And honestly, I do believe it does hurt your chance, especially if you're going to be applying to the same program with the same faculty member, or at least you indicate that faculty member on your application back-to-back years. And the reason why is because it's going to show the committee that you really don't know what you want. They're going to be asking themselves like, okay, I remember this application. They rejected me once. Why am I going to give them an offer and strip this opportunity from someone else who really wants to go? So I suggest that you try not to do this, but if you do end up doing it, then I think if you do it once, that's fine. But if you do it multiple years, then that's not going to be a good look for you, and you're probably going to get rejected. Someone's asking, should they attend grad school at their alma mater? And honestly, I do think it's a good safety school to put down and apply to. as part of your list of applications. But honestly, if you can go somewhere outside of your state, that's going to help you even more. And the reason why is because networking for grad school, especially if you want to be in academia or even in industry, it's going to be really helpful in the job market. So if you go outside of your state and then return back to your state, that's going to be a really good thing for you in terms of networking, gaining new experiences, and even if you want to get a job or something back in your state, they're going to see that you are well-rounded, that you are able to step outside your comfort zone because you went to a new state to pursue grad school. So yes, I think that you should apply to your alma mater, but use it as a safety school and apply to other schools. And if you can go outside of your state, definitely do so. Someone's asking, I'm gonna rephrase it here. So they said, I had a poor graduate interview. Should I reach out? Honestly, you shouldn't. At this point, there's nothing really that you can do. Even if you do reach out, you can't do anything about it. You know, the interview really showcases more than just you answering the questions. It shows that you can communicate effectively. So even if you did that in your interview, that's a good thing. Even if you answered the question not so great, that's fine. They also want to get a sense of who you are, your personality, and how you carry yourself, because if let's say you interviewed with your potential advisor, if they don't feel that vibe, if they don't feel, you know, that motivation, or if they don't feel that you are excited, then they're probably not going to choose you to be their advisee. So the interview serves multiple purposes, not just to answer questions, because they already read a lot of your application. You already answered most of these questions in the application, the statement of purpose, and the resume. They just want to get a sense of your communication skills and how you work and your interpersonal skills. And so they want to see if they can work with you for like 5 years if it's a PhD program. And so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would not reach out, because it's not going to even help you if you do reach out. All right, another good question about funding. How did you estimate the tuition/overall expenditures? So what you want to do first is you want to look on the cost of attendance, or the cost of attendance for the program. And on there, they're going to break it down to you, like, here's what you should expect to, pay for the year. And from there, then you can track your expenses. So you can put down, let's say you get tuition remission, so they're paying for your tuition. That's an expense you don't have to worry about. But let's say they don't give you, they're not going to give you a breakdown of the living expenses in terms of your lifestyle. So that's where you have to do a lot of the work. So I want you to think about, like, how much rent are you going to pay? How much food do you buy? How much money do you spend on food per month? And then what other expenses do you have that are going to contribute to your expense total? So for example, if you have to, if you have a new car, if you have to pay for insurance, a monthly car payment, if you have to pay for internet, if you have to pay for some other expenses, miscellaneous items, whatever it is, you can put that in there, total it up, and see if your stipend's going to cover it. I do have another video that goes over my personal expenses and income streams. If you want to check that out, go ahead and do that. And that's going to give you a little insight on how to go about the process of tracking down if you're able to pay for graduate school, your living expenses with the stipends that come with the graduate school. So go ahead and watch that video, and then if you have more questions, definitely drop those down in the in the comment section. Okay, someone asked, is it possible to get into elite grad school? And yes, it kind of seems like, especially if you don't come from a background where anybody in your area has gone to an Ivy League college or university or graduate school, it might seem impossible. But honestly, I always tell myself, give yourself a shot. And that's what I did when I was applying for master's programs at these Ivy League schools. I ended up getting into 2, and I never thought that I would, because my GPA wasn't a 4.0. My GRE scores were really low compared to their students. And so I still applied, and I ended up getting in. So yes, it's possible. I suggest that you think about it strategically, get support, ask people that have gone to Ivy League schools and see what advice they would give you. Work with faculty, work with staff, and submit an application and give yourself a shot. So yes, it's possible. Apply, and yeah, just go ahead and apply. Okay, so this is another good question. So is there prerequisites before general admission? Most programs don't have prereqs, at least not in the social sciences, but maybe in the sciences they do have a prereq, such as taking a series of science classes or math classes. But for my field, for example, the only prereq that we really had is taking the GRE test, and as well as They want the applicants to have a 3.0 or higher GPA, but that doesn't mean that if you have below that, you cannot apply and you cannot get in. So yes, there's no prerequisites. I would suggest that you go on the website and check out the requirements, and then you can apply. I do want to mention that if you're applying for PhD programs, some PhD programs do require their applicants to have a master's prior to applying for the PhD program, so that is a prereq, I guess. So I want you to go on the website, check out your program that you're interested in, and see if they do have prerequisites. All right, really good question here, and this is going to be my last question, just because this video is getting long. So let's see. How much is going to a state school, top 100 school, going to hurt me for top grad schools? Honestly, rankings don't even matter when you're applying for grad school. Yes, they can support your application overall, but usually top grad schools, especially in the Ivy League, they want to have a diverse population of students in their school and their cohorts. So they're not going to accept everybody that went to an Ivy League that applied to grad school. That's just like the real situation. So don't worry about that. Just try to build a strong application with every component really strong. So statement of purpose, your GRE scores if you can, your GPA, try to get some research experiences, try to get some practical experiences in your field, try to, find your niche, try to stand out from other applicants, but your ranking of your school doesn't really matter. So go ahead and apply, but do well in every aspect of the admissions application. All right, so that's the end of this video. If you really enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below, give my video a like, and I will make a part 2 if possible. I might even make more because there's a lot of questions out there on Reddit that students are asking, and I want to make sure that I'm able to help all of you all out with the admissions process. So if you really like this video, show me some love, give it a thumbs up, and give me some comments, maybe ask me some questions down below that I can use for the next video, and I will see you in the next video.